Best in podcast, the best in town. You want to get up, get ready to get down. With its big wide sky and the wild river Thames, if you want to go, we can take you there to Great Falls, Montana.
Welcome to the greatest damn town in Montana, Great Falls. I'm Rebecca Ingham.
I'm Shannon Newth.
And we're No Damn Experts. Today in the studio, I am honored to have a man of many traits.
Yeah.
But I would say one of the greatest traits he ever had was bringing a motorcycle to Giant Springs State Park for us to put mermaids on.
Oh my God, that was a long time
It
ago.
was.
It's a legend.
A legend in Great Falls when it comes to motorcycles and dirt bike riding, and co-architect for Montana's newest BDR.
Oh.
Russ Ehnes is in the studio with us.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I would rather. There's nowhere I'd rather be. How about that?
We love to hear it. Love to hear it.
It is a beautiful rainy day, which we are thankful for because we have not had a lot of rain so far.
Yeah.
So a little bit gloomy in the office, but I am happy to talk about all things dirt bike riding and motorcycle riding in our area.
Mm-hmm.
So for our fans at home, I did not give the introduction enough justice. Share with everyone where you're from and all the titles that you have gotten to be a part of with all the
Ooh.
various organizations that you are involved in.
Yeah, so the big problem is I just don't know how to say no to anything. And I like that it's a gloomy, rainy day because when I'm not riding motorcycles, at least on a gloomy, rainy day, I can talk about motorcycles. So
yeah.
this is perfect. So I've been riding motorcycles. I'm from Great Falls, Montana. My
Okay.
mom and dad had a motorcycle shop.
Oh,
So that's how, I grew up. It wasn't a matter of if I was going to ride. It was everybody in my family rode. That was just
Yeah.
how it was. So I started riding when I was 4 years old.
oh, wow.
So I've been at it for a minute. And in my teens, it became really apparent to me after following my mom around to different things that it was going to take a lot of work to keep motorcycling opportunities available in this area because there are a lot of challenges.
Okay.
My mom, who's a motorcycle activist, is actually in the AMA, American Motorcyclist Association Hall of Fame for her advocacy work on off-road riding.
oh, wow.
Yeah, one of only about 4 people in that entire that group of wonderful people in
Wow.
motorcycling for
Wow.
that purpose. So I followed her around, and in about 1985, I was lucky enough to help start a club here in Great Falls called the Great Falls Trail Bike Riders Association, which is still a really strong, active organization, and I'll talk more about their work later. I'm currently the president of that organization.
Okay.
In 1986, I was able to be part of the group that started the State Association, which is an association of clubs, of local clubs, called the Montana Trail Vehicle Riders Association.
Okay.
I'm currently, again, president of that organization. In about 1997, as a result of a lot of my activist work, I became the executive director of a national group called the National Off-Highway Vehicle Conservation Council. I did that for about 19 years,
Oh, wow.
19 and a half years in conjunction with all of my local stuff, too. That was actually a paying job. And
Well, what a unique opportunity
Yeah.
to get
Oh.
paid to do something you wanted to do.
Right.
oh, for sure, I haven't had a real job in like 28 years, so I
Fantastic.
wouldn't know how to go back to a clock. But, so, anyways, as a result of that job, I knew a lot of people nationwide, and I'd ridden motorcycles. I have ridden motorcycles in 40 some odd states and 4 Canadian provinces and Mexico and Iceland. So
Oh, wow.
that job got me around, and it was awesome. But at 20 years-ish, it was time to do something different. So I retired from that spot. I currently manage a ranch near Great Falls that has a robust trail system on it. And the minute that I retired, I got a call from my friends at the American Motorcyclist Association who said, "Hey, we heard you're retired, so we'd like you to be on our board of directors."
No longer retired. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So if you're not familiar with the AMA, it's about 215,000 members nationwide, and they deal with literally every aspect of motorcycling, from recreation to government relations and competition, you name it. They're the largest sanctioning body of motorcycle racing in the world. So they conned me into being a board member, and what do you know? A couple of years in, I ended up being the AMA, the chairman of the AMA board for about 6 years, and I was in that spot until January. Now I'm the vice chair of the AMA.
Oh, go back down.
Demoted.
Yeah, back and down. It's time. It's I term out in about a year, and it's time for people new leadership. But one of the things that I'm really proud of is that we were able to really strengthen the organization and put in a really well thought out transition plan to new leadership that's going to do a great job.
Oh,
so
that's great.
yeah.
So when we say that you are the knowledgeable person on riding in this area, there's the credentials.
Yeah, that's true. Most people who are listening probably have a real life beyond motorcycling. Not me. No, not at all.
It is the full life.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I
So
do.
your folks had a motorcycle store in Great Falls.
Yeah. Vic Cycle Service. Yeah.
Did they sell, service, maintain all of it?
All of the above. Yeah. They were in business from 1967 until 1984.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah. And then my mom went and got a real job, and
Aw, man.
my dad retired, and
Yeah.
so we've been at it for a while.
That is such a long time.
Yeah.
What are the current horses in the stable for you
Oh boy.
that you ride on
Oh,
a
that I
regular
ride.
basis?
Oh, that's
I
easier.
should say.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I was thinking, he's probably got tons
It's
of
different.
garages.
Well, I don't have as many as I used to. My dad and I made it our quest to own one of every motorcycle that him and my mom had sold.
Wow.
And we actually did it. We had it.
Wow.
We had 105 motorcycles, which
wow.
in the world of collectors, that's not that many. But
No.
we
That seems like a lot.
it was a lot of bikes. So we've thinned the herd. I'm down to less than 20. But my current riders, I'm really a trail rider at heart, and I still am riding my 2017 KTM 300 because they haven't built anything better for trail riding. And then my other love, as you're well aware, because of the backcountry discovery route stuff I've been involved in, is adventure bike riding. And right now I have a Tenere 700, which is a Yamaha. I have I just bought a KLE 500 Kawasaki.
We
brand
just
new.
went and looked at one of those at Scott's this weekend.
A wonderful bike. Yeah. Take mine for a ride. You'll love it.
Yeah.
And I have a 690 KTM, and then I have a 230 Honda that I use for cows out at the ranch.
Okay.
But, yeah. And then I still have a few family owner bikes that my dad had. Old stuff.
Does your entire family ride as well?
That's a prerequisite. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody in my family rides motorcycles. All my uncles rode. And my son-in-law, before he could become my son-in-law,
Yeah.
part of the deal was he had to learn to ride a motorcycle, and
Ooh.
he did it.
Is he still riding? Or was that
not
just
not
to
a
pass
lot,
the test?
but it was the acid test. You had to do that first. But I think if I put him on a bike, he could still do it because I've got my grandkids, his boys, and my granddaughter who lives here, who's like 5. They're the 3 out of the 5 grandkids are riding now, so
Nice.
it's pretty exciting.
For those of us, I'm raising my hands, who know nothing about this world, what's the difference? You talked about adventure bike, and I have no idea what any of the letters and things you said were. So will you help educate me on the basis of the bikes you're talking about?
Oh, yeah, of course. So trail bikes are just off-road motorcycles made for riding trails. Here in Montana, we're blessed with a really wonderful trail system in places like the Little Belt Mountains and the Highwoods. And they're dirt bikes, sometimes with license plates so they can be used on paved sections between gravel roads, but otherwise are not suitable for street riding other than just getting from one spot to the other.
Yeah.
Adventure bike riding is, it's kind of a broad term, but it's really any motorcycle that's dual purpose for riding on highways and on trails or gravel roads. And so it can be anything from a small motorcycle with a headlight and license plate that you just tool around the back roads on, all the way up to a 1300 BMW with 180 horsepower and all the luggage hanging off of it. And I'm kind of in the middle with my choices.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
So I'm not quite sure where I want to head now, but let's talk about the fact that we in Montana have a backroad discovery route.
Backcountry discovery route, right?
The
Yep.
BDR is brand new, really, to Montana. I have for years heard from my current spouse about Idaho's BDR and how he wants to do that. And then we got one, and I'm
Right.
thinking, look at how cool we are. So talk about the journey of being involved in that and kind of where that is in Montana, because Montana's a big freaking state.
Yeah.
And none of it's really close to us. And then we'll talk about the stuff close to us. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great. And actually, it's not that far from us because it's just
Good.
over the divide. So
Okay.
Great Falls is a great place to stop off, and there's some neat things to see here on your way
Yeah.
up to BDR. So what the backcountry discovery routes is routes for adventure motorcycling that are mostly off-road gravel dirt roads. Almost all of them are public. Well, they are all open
Yeah.
to the public, and they basically take you from the southern border in a state to the northern border in the most creative, fun way possible with as little pavement as possible.
The least direct route.
Yeah, absolutely, the least direct route, the most scenic, the most
Yeah.
fun,
Yeah.
the fun twisty dirt with the great scenery and fishing and you name it.
And then the other thing about that is also the BDR is not designed that someone's going to drop you off at the beginning and pick you up at the end because it's adventure bike riding. You show up on your bike at the beginning,
Right.
you ride it, and then you ride it home afterwards.
That's what most people do because we're cheap. And it costs a lot to drive from one end of the state to the other. And most of us can't convince our wives or
This is a great way
wives
to
can't
spend
convince
some
their
time.
husbands to spend 4 days driving around the country to pick them up. So, that's kind of how it's designed. And one of the cool things with BDRs is they bring so many people to the state for enjoyment, and then they spend money and have fun. And you mentioned that there are other BDRs. We saved the best for last, in my opinion, in the Western U.S. because we were the very last state to have a BDR
Oh,
in the Western
that
United
seems
States.
Crazy,
Well,
given
it is.
who we are. Yeah.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah.
So several years ago, because I've been an adventure bike rider for 3 decades now, and I was watching videos on the BDR, and I thought, well, this is nuts that we don't have one because it's such a
Yeah.
perfect state for one. So I called an old friend of mine who owns the Touratech importing company here in the U.S., and he put me in touch with the guy who started the BDRs, Bryce Stevens. And talked to Bryce, and I'm like, man, why don't you have a route? And he said, well, we just don't have the local expertise. He'd been working on one for a number of years, and they had like a preliminary route that some people had helped contribute to. And I saw it. He sent me the route, and it was like, man, he'd done a really, really good job on the southern half. It was like, man, he'd been here. He'd spent time looking for some of the good stuff, and he found it. And on the northern half, I looked at it and said, that's not a bad route, but it's the same route that the CDT follows, and it was where everybody goes. And we needed that route to be something special and different and really show, the best of Montana and the best riding. And as it turned out, when we got to Seeley Lake, we went west and then went to Thompson Falls, St. Regis, and north.
Yeah.
So the route, we completed it over the course of about 3 years. We filmed the documentary last year. It's available on YouTube. Just search MTBDR. It'll pop right up. And it's about a 950-mile route that starts in Henry's Lake.
Okay.
Goes north out of Henry's Lake, goes over the mountains down by Virginia City. From there up to Melrose, Butte, Elliston, and north, and it's about a five-day route. Minimum, about a 7-day route if you want to enjoy yourself.
Which we think
Right.
you should.
Yeah.
do.
Absolutely. You're here. Take your time, see it all.
exactly.
Yeah.
What I loved about I was there at the screening of the documentary, just because I knew this was a segment of our tourism economy. Not everybody spends time devoted to, but what was really neat that I really appreciated is you should camp here or you can stay in a hotel here. Like there were options along the way of what is actually going to work better for you.
You bet.
That is helpful.
Yeah, because then it's not always roughing it and it's not
Yeah.
always being
Hey,
soft.
Yeah, right. Get a nice mix.
And there's some of us that have nothing left to prove.
Right. It's all right to be
just-
comfortable.
Perfectly okay.
Yeah,
not
we want to
loving
have
it.
fun,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with camping with a credit card.
Yeah,
Right.
it works really
Yep.
nice.
Yeah, you could almost always find a buffet and
Uh-huh.
a hot
What a
tub. Hey,
concept,
nothing
yeah.
wrong with that.
And a lot of these communities are communities that don't see a lot of people. So, I mean, you almost get the town to yourself if you're doing it.
Oh, you bet. And not only there's tourism is a huge part of our economy, as you guys are well
Yeah.
aware. But there are towns that things are changing, and a good example of that is like Melrose, where the river there is getting warmer. There's less fish. The fishing traffic isn't as heavy. So, hey, if we can bring a few hundred riders into the town of Melrose, and they
Yeah.
can stay at the camp or the hotel and eat at the restaurant and get gas, hey, that's
It's a big
That's
deal.
the way.
it's a
Yeah.
win-win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, of course, after the BDR in Montana is released and I see it, I'm like, first question I have then is, what about Central Montana?
Yeah.
And only because we have such amazing riding in our area, I'm going to have you talk about that. And then you use the term that I knew nothing about, which I would big surprise. Like this guy would know something I didn't. That were connected to backcountry discovery routes that weren't the full north to south.
Yeah, they're called a BDRX.
Yeah.
And what BDR learned, and I think it was really smart, is that BDRs are really cool, but it's a commitment because you have to get from one side of the
Yeah.
state to the other and either ride the whole thing back or, trailer or something like that. And logistically, they're challenging. So being able to start and stop in a loop is really a big deal because it doesn't matter where you start or stop. You can pick any point along the way, unload, or ride to it, and then make the loop. And it's usually a little shorter route. They're usually 3 or 4 days, and then it'll loop back to wherever your truck is parked.
Nice.
So it's a really practical thing without as much of a commitment. And I will tell you that there is a BDR coming, a BDRX in Montana
And we will have information on this one
Yeah.
day.
very soon.
Today
Yeah.
is not that day.
And I can't tell you where it goes, but I'll tell you that you'll be happy about where it
Yeah.
goes.
We like that.
So that's coming. We'll have Russ back when we're able to announce that.
Yeah.
But you've been riding Central Montana. Let's just go with all of your life.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the riding that's available for both adventure bike riders and just basic dirt bike riders that are pulling up. I think one of the things that's pretty unique about the Little Belts and the Highwoods is that it is open to kind of everyone. Hikers, snowmobilers, motorcyclers,
Yeah.
jeepers, whatever they're called.
Yeah, it is. And here's the cool thing with the Little Belts and the Highwoods is we, when I say we, I mean the Great Falls Trail Bike Riders Association, have devoted many, many years and over $1 million in grant funds to the trail system. But even more important than that, we've developed working partnerships through another organization in Great Falls called the Friends of the Little Belts. And we work with the Snowmobile Club, the Bicycle Club, Wild Montana, the Backcountry Horsemen, pretty much any group that we could become affiliated with, and county commissioners, to collaborate on making that trail system better for everyone. We've got some really cool things coming up this year in the Little Belts where we will be working on non-motorized trails, which don't get enough attention. The trails in the Little Belts and the Highwoods, we're really fortunate because Great Falls Trail Bike Riders is so organized. We actually have a full-time seasonal crew that we hire that are employees for Great Falls trail bike riders to do the maintenance on the trails and the Little
Wow.
Belts, the Highwoods, the Castles. And we actually just this year expanded it from 3 full-time guys to 7 full-time guys.
Wow.
So we'll be running 2 crews. We have a 7th guy because somebody's always on vacation. Needs to go fishing.
Well, that is a huge benefit to us in our community and to the people who are utilizing this area as recreation. So thank you first for that.
Oh yeah. No, it's been great the way it's worked out. And if anybody wonders why you should buy the little round $20 every 2-year decal that goes on your OHV called a Trail Pass.
Yeah.
Because every dime of that $20 goes into the grant fund to fund our projects, as well as the statewide trail tractor program that Montana Trail Vehicle Riders does, and a lot of other good programs. So without those dollars, we wouldn't have such a great opportunity.
Does any of the organizations you're affiliated with, I'm assuming more of the local ones, receive a benefit from the fishing access recreation stuff?
Oh, not really.
Conservation license things.
That's what I was.
Yeah,
I was thinking.
Not really, but we are fortunate. There are 3 state grant funds and 1 federal grant fund that we can access. So literally, for the first time in my career as an off-highway vehicle advocate, we have, I would say, an adequate budget to do more work than we've done, ever. So
That's awesome.
the decal programs, and that's all because of Montana Trail Vehicle Riders and the work that they've done in the Montana legislature to pass the right bills.
That's great work.
Yeah.
What does it take to maintain these trails? Because not everyone's maybe familiar with taking a ride and running into a tree that you can't get over.
It takes an army, literally. In addition to those 7 guys that actually will start on Wednesday, in addition to those guys, we've got, I don't know, probably a couple of dozen guys that are club members, and there are people who are not affiliated that carry chainsaws to help get trails open in the springtime and through the summer, because now with all the beetle kill and that kind of stuff, every time we get a windstorm, you kind of got to go back and redo everything. So it takes lots of folks, and we're fortunate that we've got lots of volunteers that have stepped up. We've provided training, CPR, first aid, and tools, saws. So we're way ahead of the curve compared to any other part of Montana when it comes to our trail system.
Nice.
And you asked about the trails and riding in central Montana, and I'm going to just tell you that I've had the opportunity through my careers to ride in a lot of different places. And while I've had some really fun rides in a lot of cool places, I've never found anywhere better than the Little Belts when it comes to motorcycle riding for single track motorcycles. And it has an incredible ATV and side-by-side trail system, 50-inch, and then there are loops for wider machines.
Yeah.
And what's really cool about the Little Belts is not only is that system there, we provide a map through Friends of Little Belts that's free, that you can get at any of the dealers, you can get at the agencies. It's most of the time they try to keep them stocked in the kiosks at the trailheads, and you can download it on an app called Avenza, so you can see where you can go legally and when you can go there. And it's all in color that makes sense, easy to see, and it tells you where you're at, and it'll track your rides. So, yeah, if you want to get out and see the mountains, we're trying to make it easy.
Yeah. And for those listening, one of the unique things, we're talking about dirt bike riding, but one of the greatest locations in town that you can almost guarantee to always get one is Bighorn Outdoor Specialists.
Absolutely.
Because they are huge advocates for the dual use of some of these trails, and hiking is a big thing. We once in a while will have a stock here at the office, but I'm not, don't bank on that.
I'll bring you a box.
Perfect. Thank
I'll bring you a new case. And you're right. I want to say thanks to Chris and his wife that own Bighorn. If you need outdoor gear, forget about Amazon. Just go see those guys. Keep them around because they do a wonderful job and they advocate for all responsible recreation.
Yeah, which is, I think, really unique. Nobody's fighting against each other here locally. It is all about how do we get more people into the mountains correctly,
safely and responsibly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
In a way that makes it fun for everyone.
Yep.
Yeah. I was just going to ask, because you've been doing this for so long, you were kind of ingrained in it as a kid, but what is it about it that keeps you going and year after year still in love with riding?
Well, riding never gets old, and I've
Yeah.
I've been fortunate that with advocacy, you have to have a really short memory and a really high pain tolerance. You got to be used to being kicked in the butt
Yeah.
frequently, and
Yeah.
then forget that it ever happened. So I don't know what the secret mix is for that, but the thing with motorcycle riding and side by side riding is it gets you outside, and I just have never figured out what enough is.
Yeah.
And it never gets old, so I'm lucky that way. But I
It
think
is.
that, most people are like that. If they have the chance to do it, they're going to see what it's all about, and they're going to love it.
So, what about the Little Belts makes it so
Yeah.
Little Belts or Highwoods and the castles? I've not spent much time in the castles at all. I drank at the checkerboard bar.
There you go.
That's it. We rode out of the belts to
Yeah.
get to it,
Yep,
and then
there
rode
you go.
back. So, what is it about this area for riding that makes it so special, so unique, so worthwhile?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. The geography and the topography of the area, because it's so rocky, makes the trails fun and challenging, and to some extent, the rocks make things more durable. That's part of it. The other thing that makes it special is all of the work that the Great Falls Trail Bike riders and all the advocates before us put in, and my mom and all those folks before us, that they put in to help save the trail system through like the travel planning processes. The trails have been there, and the trails in the Little Belts a lot of them were smoke chaser trails, or they were mining trails, but a lot of them were there because the miner needed to get to the top of the hill, and that's where the mule took him, or he followed an elk trail, or whatever it
yeah.
was. But the system that was up there, most of it was there. We've put in some new stuff, but it's fun, and it loops together. And frankly, in the travel planning process, we were super engaged. We inventoried every inch of trail we knew of and could find in the Little Belts. Our club put together its own proposal for a trail system, which ultimately most of that became one of the alternatives for the travel plan. And we have, a really strong relationship with the Forest Service, so they implemented a lot of what we proposed. So we were able to save a lot more of our trails through the early 2000s when the travel management rule was implemented. We were able to save a lot more of our trails in some other areas, or get trails considered and added that weren't on the system before. So yeah, hard work from a lot of people that ensured that it was there. Hard work from a lot of people that ensure that it's maintained.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that we need help with now is getting the word out about being responsible and legal and staying on the trails and respecting other users
Yes.
and doing the right things.
I think that's probably my most frustrating thing is when you see people going off trail.
Oh, that's the
Like there's plenty of trails.
Yep.
You don't have to create your own.
right. Yeah, no, and we, there were a lot of hard feelings when some of the trails were closed in the early 2000s, and people wanted to be renegades and go ride, the trail. And my reply to that is, okay, so I would like for you to go ride every single trail that's available to you in the Little Belts and the Highwoods and the castles. And then when you're done with that,
Go
Yeah.
blaze
if
your
there's,
own.
that's it. It's like if at the end of the year, if that didn't keep you happy, then tell me that there's not enough trails. But if you really work at it, you might get all that done in a year.
Yeah. If you're committed.
If you're
Yeah.
committed, yeah.
How many miles of trail are we talking about, or number of trails? Is it even? Is there any math that you can connect to that?
If I was smart enough to remember all the maps that I looked at through the travel planning process, I would say, I don't know without looking it up, but there are several hundred miles of single track motorcycle, and there are hundreds of miles of ATV 50-inch trail. That's another thing that I should mention when it comes to education and people doing the right things. The trails in the Little Belts, the ATV trails, are 50-inch trails.
Yeah.
And if people don't hear it at the dealerships or they choose to ignore it, it's at their own peril. But there are 50-inch machines available from virtually every brand now. So if you want to ride the right trail, buy the right machine.
Yeah.
If you're ambitious and not very smart like me, you have 5 side-by-sides too, which I do. And I have one 50-inch machine that I use for trail riding 50-inch trails.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the other machines, the wider machines as well, but I use them in the appropriate places. And when you're buying, make the right choice. And when you're in the mountains, don't breach the trails. That's the quickest way for us to lose trail is when there's damage from wider machines poaching trails. It's like that's an incentive for those to be closed by the folks who want them closed.
Do you have favorite trails that you would, maybe not favorite, but trails you'd recommend at varying levels?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah, so
I always like to say favorite, and people are like, "Oh, I don't."
Can't pick a favorite.
well, I do have
Yeah.
favorites, but you got to remember that I've been doing this for a really long time. So the
Yeah.
ones that I really think are fun, some people might think are horrible because they're going to be really, really rocky, and you're going to have to concentrate to stay
So
on
the
your
different
wheels.
levels maybe is a good
Yeah.
way to
Yeah,
put
exactly.
it. Yeah.
So for motorcycle riding, if you're a trail bike rider, the trail system that opens first in the spring is the Highwood Mountains. And there's
Okay.
only 30 miles-ish of trail. I think it's 28 or 30 miles. But it's a great place to go for a day. And if you want to go for a weekend, you can ride it both directions. But that trail system is really cool because there's nothing super difficult. There's some difficult spots. But for the most part, it's something that a beginner will do okay. If they're set up with a good bike and a little instruction, they'll get through it just fine. The Little Belts, there are some really cool loops. One of the things that's interesting about the Little Belts is if you're going to ride more than about 30 miles, you're going to ride something hard. In
Yeah.
order to put together a loop, there's going to be some kind of a difficult trail. So, just be prepared for that. And if you want advice about how to set your bike up and all that, come to a Great Falls Trail Bike Riders meeting or PM me and I'll help you.
Yeah. I think one of the first rides my husband took me on, and I was on a 4-wheeler, so this was 20 some years ago. We went up Yogo Peak, which is extremely
It's a little rocky.
rocky.
Yeah, rocky.
And my bike got a flat tire,
Uh-oh.
as if it was my fault. Like somehow I'm the reason that it became flat.
Yeah.
And so we had no kit. The people we were with had no kit to plug it because it was that big of a hole. My husband just says to me, just lean forward and try to ride on 3 wheels. Yeah, because I'm that technical. That's my ability, right?
Especially with all those rocks.
Yeah. Well, we had gotten over and
Okay.
we were.
What was he riding?
He was riding his dirt bike. I think at his time, that time he had a YZ250.
Oh, okay. All right. I was
So-
going to say you should have taken his 4-wheeler and
right.
made him
Yeah,
ride the
no
one with the
kidding.
flat tire.
Yeah.
And I considered that, but he does not have a comfort level in his spouse riding a bike.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I'm capable, grew up riding on 2 wheels, but there's a different level when you have a spouse and what you feel comfortable with them doing in the mountains. So,
Well, that's when you hit him in the side of the head with a flat rock
Yeah.
and take his bike.
hey, I can do
Good
this.
call.
You
Good
ride
idea,
this
Russ.
thing.
Yeah.
So there are some beautiful views that can be seen and just amazing things to be able to witness up in the mountains in the Little Belts. Talk to me about the castles. Never been.
Okay, so the castles are an interesting mountain range. They're very rocky. It's not a big system. But what's really cool about the castles is a few people have ridden them for a long time. And during the travel planning process, part of the negotiation and the settlement with some of the lawsuits and things that we were engaged in was that in order to kind of make up for some of the trails that were lost over by Harlow, the Forest Service agreed that they would develop a trail system in the Castle Mountains for ATVs. The trails that were there were super rocky, super technical, so you could ride them, but they were steep and rocky and off camber and not the cup of tea for most people. They really got used mostly for hunting access. But over the course of the last, I'm going to say 6 or 7 years, Great Falls Trail Bike Riders has worked with the Forest Service, their engineering department and the rec department to basically secure the money for the engineers to go redesign and rebuild that trail system.
Oh, wow.
And we're about two cycles, 2 years away from having the entire trail system rebuilt with new ATV trail.
Wow.
So it doesn't get a lot of publicity yet. It's kind of cool. This will give it some publicity
Yeah.
for sure. But we recommend that you go check it out. If you're interested in what's completed so far, again, contact me or contact the Forest Service. There's not a really good map of the new stuff yet, but that's coming.
Okay.
That's coming probably within the next year. But when it's done, it's going to be roughly 35 miles of brand new, designed for sustainability and fun ATV trail for 50-inch machines.
That'll be pretty exciting.
It's really cool. I've had the opportunity to go look at the work and participate in some of the all of the grant activities and some of the design with the engineering folks, and it's absolutely amazing.
So let's clarify. When you say it's open to 50-inch, does that also mean it can be used as a dirt bike trail?
Absolutely. Yeah. And
Just can't go bigger than the 50
just
inch.
can't go
Okay.
wider than 50 inches. And 50 inches is measured. That's a question I get all the time, so I'm gonna answer it before you ask. But because if people say, "Well, but my fender flares stick out or my tires stick out," and that's okay. The machine can be wider than 50 inches, but the wheel faces, the metal wheel face to metal wheel face, has to be 50 inches. So if you have a 50-inch machine that you bought off of the showroom floor, if you put bigger tires on it or fender flares, it's still legal. And where the barriers are put in, typically the Forest Service aims for about 54 inches between to allow for those plastics and the rubber and things that stick out. So you can get through those barriers to get onto those trails.
It is amazing, probably more so for you than for me, to see the progression of the machines from like a dirt bike and a street bike to four-wheelers to these massive side-by-sides that cost as much as a car
Right.
now.
Yeah.
And the four doors and the amount of CCs that these things are running
Yeah, and you can spend 50 grand
easily.
yeah, without even putting accessories on some of them. It's pretty crazy.
And to me, they're really designed to be more like vehicles than they are toys.
Well, and it's interesting that there are places where, like the bigger, wider 74-inch machines, the big Can-Ams and the Razors, are really fun to use, but that's usually the desert.
Yeah.
In Arizona where the road systems exist, and truly they are for roads. And I mentioned I have wider machines, and if you have a wider machine, that doesn't mean you can't go have fun in the Little Belts, because the road system in the Little Belts, between the roads and there are trails that are designated for vehicles over 50-inch.
Yeah.
Basically, it's an old road that's so cobbly you'd never want to take a car or a truck up it.
Yeah.
But those are all open to the wider machines. And there are some really cool loops. So it's not like if you have a wider machine, there's nowhere to go. You don't have to poach trails. But if you're buying a new machine, buy the right machine.
Yeah.
And if you buy a wide machine, don't expect that the trails are going to accommodate you because you bought the wider machine. That was your choice.
Right.
So, what is one of your favorite rides?
Oh, I'll give you a couple. So on a motorcycle, I would say because it's so nostalgic for me, I just love riding in the Highwood Mountains because my dad and his family grew up in the Highwoods.
Okay.
Even though it's not a super, difficult ride, every time I go up there, it's like I think about riding with my dad and my uncle.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that. I do it a couple of times a year. On side-by-sides, my favorite ride is wider than 50-inch. I have a cabin up at Nyhart, and my wife and I, about once a year, we'll take the machine up to, I have a Ranger, which is 60
Okay.
inches wide. I'll take it up to Jefferson Creek, go up the Jefferson Road to the ridge and ride over Yogo Peak, down the other side, Elk Saddle, out to Yogo, stop at the Blue Diamond, I think it's or the Blue Nugget.
Yep.
Yeah,
the
Blue Nugget Bar, and have a Diet Coke and a burger, and then go up through Etten Ridge and around the head of the Lost Fork and the Middle Fork of the Judith Study area, and then back down to the truck. And it's about a 95-mile loop. And it's my favorite loop because I get to do it with my wife.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing with side by sides is it's so social because
Yeah.
it's it's like driving in a car. You have a conversation while you're going, and you got the cooler in the back seat.
Nobody gets dehydrated.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And hey, be responsible. Don't drink.
Yeah.
I'm a Diet Coke guy, but it is nice having all the stuff you need
Right there.
instead of all the stuff you can carry. Dirt bike.
Yeah. Etten Ridge definitely bumpier than some would like. So you want to make sure that you are ready to bump along on that route.
Yeah, it is. And something I should mention about that route is there's a new connector that comes up from I believe it's the South Fork of Judith down by the Indian Hills campground area.
Yep.
There's a new connector that comes from that road up to Etten Ridge that is way cool. And it's one of the roads that Great Falls Trail Bike, or it's one of the wider than 50-inch routes that Great Falls Trail Bike riders was able to put in with in cooperation with the Forest Service.
Look at that.
Yeah, so there you go, new trail.
All right, Russ. Now the next hard question. Great Falls is going to be hosting the 2027 BMW Motorcycle Owners Association National Rally. They're coming back.
Yeah.
First time they're coming back somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're very honored for that. Talk to me for both the riders who prefer just paved routes that we know exist in the BMW motorcycle owners, and those that are a little bit more adventurous. What are some of your recommendations for routes that they should do when they're coming here for the rally?
Oh, there's on pavement. There's lots of routes out of Great Falls. I really like riding the frontage road up through Wolf Creek and over to go to Helena, then across by Townsend. I mean, that's a great loop. Through the Little Belts and White Sulphur, there's just lots of loops. You can go up along the Rocky Mountain front. You have to go to the Buckhorn for a hamburger, right?
Yes, yes.
So there's lots of great paved loops. But there are a fair number of adventure motorcyclists that'll come to that rally too. A lot of people will be on BMW GSs. And contrary to what the name implies, BMW MOA, they allow all brands.
They do.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had a Honda
Good
last
to know.
time,
Good to know.
and they let me ride. And actually, there's some really cool things for the adventure bike group there. I actually worked with them last time, and I'll do it again to give out GPX routes for some really awesome big bike friendly adventure loops around this area, which there's tons of them.
Yeah.
And one of them is up to the Buckhorn.
Yeah. Of course.
Can't miss that.
Yeah.
So lots of loops. And the other thing they offer is training. So they had a, what do you call it? Adventure bike training courses. And I mentioned I manage a ranch near Great Falls, and we have the perfect place to do that kind of stuff. So last year we hosted them at the ranch to do the adventure bike training, and Dusty Wessels was the instructor. I'm not sure who it'll be this time. But, man, they had a huge response. There must have been at least 100 or so people that participated in those trainings. And
This would be people who are learning to do a little bit more adventure bike riding.
Yeah, they offered a couple different levels. If you're new to adventure bike riding, there's really basic things like understanding how to deal with gravel roads. Because everybody says they love gravel roads, but what they mean is they love dirt roads. Gravel roads kind of suck because they're loose and squirmy. So they'll help you learn how to do that and corner right and stop and
That's
all
really
the technical.
handy.
Yeah, all the technical stuff.
Lot better than saying, honey, get on this bike and you can just go.
Yeah, just
Do
follow
what
me.
I do. I've been riding for 35 years. You're the first time. It'll be fine.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You'll know
Totally
what
the
to
same
do.
level.
Oh God,
Yeah.
I wish I had a nickel for every time I heard that story. Yeah.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Well, that's pretty awesome. Have you ever done any racing?
Oh yeah. I haven't for quite a few years. I'm definitely a member of AARP. Not that there aren't people my age who race plenty, but I grew up in a motorcycle shop, and I was able to participate in a little bit of flat track racing, a fair amount of motocross racing. We did some trials riding, believe it or not. Yeah, and then I really got involved in enduro racing when I was in my teens, and
Oh.
I really loved enduro racing because that's basically trail riding in the mountains only as fast as you can on a
Yeah.
closed course. So that was my forte. I enjoyed that. I did, however, get married, and the realities of what
change
it cost
things,
to
yeah.
support that and a home and kids and all that stuff kind of
And
changed that.
that and the impending injury that could happen that would take you out for a period of time.
Well, I'll tell you something, and this is absolutely true. I have never been hurt riding a motorcycle.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
I've been hurt a lot crashing
Knock on
motorcycles.
wood.
That's a whole nother story.
There you go. That's
so-
the key.
So my 24 surgeries and 3 replacement
my
joints
gosh.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long career.
All surgeries from motorcycle?
Not all of them,
Okay.
but yeah, the vast majority, yes.
Yeah.
There's been a few times we were just up in the Little Belts for Memorial Day, and a friend of ours said, "Hey, when was the last time you guys have been back to the scene of the crime?" And my
Oh no.
husband, this is a true story, and kids learn your lessons. We were at camp, and we were early to camp, so we were the first ones there. There was like 4 or 5 of us, and we said, "Let's go for a little ride." Okay. I turned to my husband. I'm like, "Get your gear on, your breastplate and all your safety gear." And he's like, "It's just a little putt. I don't need my gear."
Yeah,
No.
right.
Yep.
And I said, "Get your gear on. I need you to have your gear on." And he goes, "It's not that big of a deal. I've done this 1,000 times. It's not that hard of a ride. I'm not going to wear my gear." And I said to him, "All right, when you're laying alongside the trail dying, I am going to hover over your lifeless body and say, I guess you
I
should have
told-
put your gear on."
Well, I'm glad you're not the kind of person who says I told you so.
Yeah, right.
So he wrecks his bike.
Of course.
And he is laying alongside the trail, gasping for air. And I leaned over and I said, "Can you hear me?" And he goes, shakes his head. And I'm like, "I guess you should have put your gear on." And I waited there with him until his friends got back to camp, got the pickup, and came and picked him up. And we went to the hospital. But he has never not worn his gear
Yeah.
since.
All the gear all the time. That's
Yeah,
the,
that's
the
the
mantra.
rules.
You know
Yeah.
you're going to jinx yourself if you're like, "Oh, I've done this
Yeah.
a ton. I don't need it."
Ugh.
Yeah.
And it was, he'd switched somebody bikes, wanted to see how this new bike felt. And
That's always the worst.
Yep.
Yeah.
My worst crash was on somebody else's. Well, my worst injury, let's say, was on somebody else's bike.
yeah, so
Never
always
fails.
wear your gear. They sell it at the stores.
Yeah, what
If
a coincidence.
if you
Yeah.
need help picking it out, they'll help you with that.
Right.
What kind of gear? If for someone who's starting out, what kind of gear do you need?
You got to have over the ankle boots for sure.
Okay.
And I would really recommend motorcycle riding boots because they're built to protect your ankles. Long pants of some sort. Definitely long sleeves, gloves, eye protection, and 100% a helmet.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the bare minimums. But a chest protector, as you mentioned, is a great item. There are things available like neck braces and wrist braces and knee braces and all kinds of stuff for those of us who need a little augmentation after.
What about
After
if I'm going in
lifetime.
the 50-inch, the ATVs and things like that? What should I be?
100% of the time, seat belts. The other thing is, be respectful of the fact that you're in a machine that's designed for off-road use. In Montana, we are fortunate from the standpoint that if you license plate your vehicle, you can use it to connect side by side, paved roads as long as you're street legal. But they're not designed for that use. So their stability on pavement is not
Different?
Is not the same as a car. So
Okay.
respect that and be careful.
That's good to
and,
know, I
help
think
us
of.
preserve that right that we have or that law that
Yeah.
allowed us to do that by keeping the accidents way down. So, yeah.
What
And as
other-
far as gear,
Yeah.
it's a great idea to wear a helmet and a side by side as well. And it's not the same as a motorcycle from the standpoint that it won't. If you're buckled in and you're wearing your seatbelt, the biggest risk to your head is hitting the roll bar or something like that in an incident because 3-point harnesses, which is what a safety belt is. They're not made to keep you in the seat because you may fly around on the cab, but you're not going to fall out and get crushed.
Yeah.
What about like trail etiquette and things like that?
They're actually, that's a great question because we spend a lot of time in Great Falls working with the Backcountry Horsemen and the Bicycle Club, and we all share a lot of trails. And the Highwoods is a perfect example of a trail system that this time of year everybody uses it because it's the only place you can go right now. There's no snow, the trails are cleared, so we successfully use that by respecting each other. And the biggest, most important thing you can do is regarding horses. So when you're a recreationist on a bicycle or on a motorcycle or even walking, the guy that's on the horse can't necessarily determine exactly what the horse is going to do. So you have to think about that person's safety. If you're on a motorcycle, pull off the side of the trail, typically the downhill side if it's practical. Stop your bike, shut the bike off, and start talking to the rider. And it's just as important for that horse to hear your voice as it is for the rider to hear your voice, so it recognizes you as a person. Ask the rider, hey, what do you want me to do? You want me just to hang tight, or are you okay?
Yeah.
We're fortunate because the backcountry horsemen and most of the people who trail ride around here, their horses are fairly acclimated. So encounters can be perfectly safe if we all, practice that. Also, if you're coming up on horses or, do your best to keep your distance. As soon as you see them, slow down, do the right things.
Yeah. Well, I think we have thoroughly explained all the fun that you can have in the dirt
And the gravel.
and the streets
Yeah.
in our area. The Little Belts are less than a 45-minute drive. Highwoods are less than a half hour.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Away from Great Falls. So if you want, the extreme comfort, you can go out, ride, come back, sleep in a beautiful hotel room, well
Absolutely.
appointed, have someone else cook your food for you. I mean, it's the perfect way to camp, if you ask me.
Glamping, sort of.
And we left you with a little Easter egg. There's going to be more to talk about with the BDR X's when Russ is finally ready to unleash that on the world. So thank you for being on our podcast. Thanks for all the work you've done for our area and across the world for motorcycles and dirt bikes and all the recreation that comes with that. So thank you.
Thanks,
And
Russ.
one more reason to come to Great Falls, Montana and have fun. You got to bring your own machine currently, but maybe in the future. Treasure State
Never know.
Outdoors might have
maybe we'll expand.
an opportunity there. So until we see your bright, smiling, happy, healthy, beautiful face, we do hope you're creating amazing memories with your friends and family wherever you might be. See you soon.
We're No Dam Experts is the recorded claims from Great Falls, Montana, covering what you need to know about this amazing damn town. Damn, that felt good.